Hi guys, it's Kelly and I'm back with another video for Marker Pop, and today I'm going to be using the watercolored anemones and the Christmas greetings, both from WPlus9. So we're going to do a little bit of no line coloring today, and I kind of stamped everything out beforehand, and then you can see in the bottom the colors, the main colors I'm going to be using. I wanted to make sure they were going to cover my lightest ink. So this is Falling Star by WPlus9. It's an alcohol-based ink. Now, normally I would tell you that it stains your stamps and it's not a big deal because it won't come off when you stamp. Now, wait, watch. And then there's like 10 minutes where I'm like, what just happened there? I'll tell you what happened there. I didn't clean my stamp. Here, this one is stained and it totally stamped fine in the Falling Star. But anyway, I had gone with the light gray because I knew I wanted to use my Copics over top of it. And because that one I didn't clean totally came out with ink still on it. But after looking at it for 10 minutes and being like, did that seriously just happen? I decided that I was using reds and greens anyway, and the Copic Coloring would cover it, so I need not stress about it. Bigger things in life to worry about. So here I'm just done in this set. She has included a bouquet of 2 flowers. That's what I stamped in the center. And then she's also has a lot of like build your own kind of bouquet. So I decided I wanted mine to be a little bit bigger. I wanted to be the whole focal point of my card. So here is the Copic Coloring, and I got the idea for this basically because Dawn had done a Periscope. And if you don't follow WPlus9 on Periscope, you should go do that because she's wonderful, crazy talented. But anyway, she was hand drawing flowers with Copic markers. That's what she was doing. And these beautiful bouquets, and I loved every single one of them. And Dawn insists you can make a flower out of anything. I, however, tried to just sit down with my Copics and whip out some flowers like that. It didn't really work out for me. But fortunately, Dawn sells her flowers in the form of stamps. So I decided I was going to stamp these and then just do the no line coloring, and that would give me basically the same look that Dawn had achieved just by drawing them out. So I start with my lightest, and then I was laying down. You have to get the shape of the flower, and that's why I included the coloring of all the flowers. I know that it's kind of monotonous and it's the same thing over and over again, but I know I get the most questions about flowers because people have a hard time distinguishing how the petals should be shaped. So start with my lightest, and then I use a feathering motion, just the tip of my marker, very light pressure. And then you want to make sure you leave those little breaks, and that's going to just distinguish each petal from the other, and it's going to make it look like an actual petal. So you want to make sure you leave those highlights. And again, I'm just looking at the flower, looking at the stamped image, and trying to decide how that flower looks like it's opening. And on every single one of them, there are some that are curling back and some that are curling up over it. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So the shading is different. Like on the inside here, wait, that like this would be the inside of the flower. Then that part would be the outside. So it almost looks like they're going to be exactly the same. Like the shading wouldn't change from the inside to the outside. And that's because this petal that's more toward us is curling up over the center. So I also wanted to do some white. I'm telling you, the name of this flower is so difficult for me. Anemone. How many times do we just say that on the voiceover? I hope you were all doing it along with me. But anyway, I wanted them to be white. Now, Dawn came out with this set in spring is when WPlus9 released this. And there are spring anemones, and then there's also fall. So I'm kind of pushing the envelope using this as a Christmas card, but I stuck with pretty traditional colors, so I feel like it's okay. I had done a Periscope myself a few weeks ago, and I did a white poinsettia. Poinsettia? Poinsettia. Why can I not pronounce flower names? Does anybody know? Anyway, but while I was doing it, I only went as dark as W5, and Sandy Elnock was kind of like W7, W9, and I'm scared of dark colors sometimes, guys. They're very scary. And I didn't want my flower to look gray. I wanted it to look white. So when I did the first one, I went all the way out to W7, and I felt like it was too dark. I felt like, what did you just do? So this one, I just went out to W5, and then wait, you can see them next to each other. See how unfinished that one on the right looked? I had to go back in with W7. It just didn't look like I had completed the flower. So I added the W7, and then I blended it back out with all my same colors. And then from here, I'm going to go in and kind of fill in the centers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea if this is really what this center of anemones look like. I don't know. I just know that that's what I wanted to do. So that is what I did. I picked some YRs that are more on the golden side. I guess I felt like that would be more complementary. And then I just went in and drew a couple of quick little stamen and then filled in the edges so that they would stand out. And then from there, on the 3 lines that I drew to be the stamen, I added some tops to them. And later on, we'll go in with a white gel pen and add just a little bit of a highlight. Here, I wanted to do 2 different greens. Normally I am very drawn to very bright yellow greens like these ones I'm using here. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going from lightest to darkest, darkest to lightest. I'm using the feathering motion, very light pressure. And especially in areas as small as these leaves are, you don't want to be heavy-handed. And each one I tried to color different. Like sometimes the dark was on the left, sometimes it was on the right, sometimes it was in the middle. But I wanted there to be 2 different greens. I wanted it to be a little bit broken up because there are 2 different styles of leaves here, but also because there's a lot of leaves here. So I'm going to show you 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the next color combination that I used, because I did the same thing over and over again, and I'm sure that, you'll be bored out of your mind if you have to watch all of that. So here I went in and I just realized now that I cut the color combination off, so my bad. I used YG 93, 95, 97, and 99. That's what I used for these longer leaves here. And it's just something else that adds, a bit more depth and kind of breaks up that bouquet, because not everything in nature is the same shade of green, and not everything in a bouquet would be exactly the same. It's good to try to mix it up a little bit. And again, I'm just going to show you 2, and here I chose to leave in the one that had the most red in it to show you that it really doesn't matter. These particular inks I used WPlus9, but it's also Simon's Stamp and Hero Arts. They're all the same formulation. They're all alcohol based. So anytime you take a Copic marker, a lighter Copic marker to a darker one, it's going to pull up the pigment. And here I just had to draw in a little bit of stems so they didn't look like they were floating out there all by themselves. But anyway, when you take a lighter Copic to a darker Copic, it pulls up the pigment. It works the same way with these inks because they're alcohol based. So I knew putting the light green over that red was going to pull up some of the pigment. And even if I wanted to go back in and add a few more highlights, I could with my 0 marker right on top of that, and it would pull up some of the actual ink that I stamped with. So I'm adding some clear Wink Estella because it's a 1-layer card, and everything should have shimmer on it, really. I mean, just all the things should be shimmering. So after I was done with that, I was ready to stamp my sentiment, and I chose the Christmas Blessings. My bouquet was pretty right hand heavy, so I decided to put my sentiment over there, and then I did actually trim it down. So this card ended up being 4 by 5.5, and then before I trimmed it down, I used my white gel pen just to outline the areas where it was over that flower. That I didn't do the whole thing, just those areas so that it would be clean and legible. And then I just trimmed it down to 4 inches by 5.5. And that's the card. That's the whole thing. So I hope this will inspire you to, try the no line coloring, but also to mix and match your stamp sets. Like I said, this particular stamp set came out in June, but I still think that it's beautiful for a Christmas card or even a sympathy card or whatever. Like, these images are just timeless. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.